I don't like doing intros, and most of y'all probably just skip past them anyway, so I'm just gonna get straight to the point. If you don't know what Punch-Out! The Master Engine is, it's a Scratch fan game of the original Punch-Out! Featuring every single character from every single game, except Doc Lewis and Donkey Kong, for some reason. But this fan game is particularly unique because every single fighter is also unique. And that means they are all uniquely difficult. Well, I mean, some of them are difficult, and some of them aren't. So today, I am going to be looking at all 28 fighters and seeing how difficult each of them are. I'll be ranking them by difficulty based off of how much trouble they just generally give you, and how exploitable they are to new players and to more seasoned players. So without further ado, here we go.
Look at you, making hamburgers with your fancy beef for the fancy captain's table, Mr. Squishy Squashy.
And to no one's surprise, at dead last is Glass Joe. Man himself. Francis Glassjaw. The old 199. Yeah, I think it should be obvious why this guy's in dead last. His attacks are slow, but not slow enough for you to accidentally get hit by dodging too early. All of his attacks can be dodged in all directions, and his jab can be blocked. He's got a taunt, which gives you a star. He's very weak to star punches. A 3-star is enough to instantly knock him down. And speaking of instant knockdowns, another instant knockdown is if you hit him right after his view de Constant. Now, if you hit him too late, this is only an instant knockdown. But if you hit him with a 3-star punch while he's still in the air, this will be an instant knockout. But it doesn't just have to be a 3-star punch, it could be a 2-star punch, or a 1-star punch, or any punch. Yeah, Glass Joe easily has the easiest instant knockout in the entire game. And not a lot of fighters in this game have instant knockouts, so it's not like he has much competition. Out of all the fighters in the game, this guy is the most likely to be at the bottom, so I don't think anyone should be surprised. Also, to put the final nail in the coffin, all of his attacks are parryable. If you time it at least slightly well, you can hit him while he's trying to hit you and get a star off it, just getting him one step closer to going down. As for fun facts about this guy, I'm pretty sure he's the one that the most people want in Smash, which is kinda weird considering, you know, he's Glass Joe. He would easily be an F-tier fighter if he were in Super Smash Bros. I don't know why people even want him in that game.
99999!
Von Kaiser comes next, and let's get this out of the way. Very few Germans are Nazis, but a guy named Von Kaiser, I mean, really? Really, Nintendo? Yeah, this guy's got some of the most stereotypes under his belt, even more than Piston Honda, which is kinda crazy to me. Anyways, he's really easy, man. He only has 2 attacks, a basic jab and an uppercut that can be dodged in any direction. I'm not sure if it can be ducked, I didn't fact check that, but whatever. The problem is much like Glass Joe, both of those attacks can be parried very easily, and while the timing is slightly tighter and the attacks themselves are slightly stronger, I was actually considering putting him above the next contestant, but there was one thing that made me decide against that, and that is his taunt. You see, if you get him into stun, but don't punch him out of stun, and just let him sit there, he will eventually do his taunt where he hides behind his gloves, and after a few moments he'll peek out from behind them. This gives you an opportunity to punch him, which will give you a star. That said, if you hit him with a 1-star punch, he'll instantly go down, but will get back up. That said, if you hit him with a 3-star punch, he's not getting back up. That's an instant knockout, and yeah, this is one of the easier instant knockout tricks to do. It's not as easy as Glass Joe's, because at least you need a 3-star punch, and it's hard to know how to do this at first, because, I mean, how would you know? but still, that drags him down so much. Another thing that drags him down is the fact that he only has 2 attacks. Also the fact that he is extremely weak to gut blows, which is kind of cool that a lot of characters are weaker to gut blows than they are to jabs. But also his stun times. If you can successfully counter a jab, you get 4 hits off of that, but an uppercut gives you 8. 8 is like an entire 1/6 of his health bar, which is insane. Von Kaiser is definitely out of his prime and needs to consider retiring because, yeah, I don't think he's cut out for the ring anymore. I get he was a boxing teacher at some point, but he clearly has PTSD from something, so he should probably seek therapy and possible substance abuse before stepping back into the ring. As for fun facts, did you know that Von Kaiser experiences symptoms of shell shock? Which is weird because he was born 1 year after World War II ended. Why would they enlist a -1-year-old into the army? I mean, unless it's from another war, I can't think of any wars that happened in between World War II and now off the top of my head, but whatever the case may be, I don't know why I experiences shell shock that much. To be fair, shell shock isn't only in war veterans, but it is mostly. Maybe he just liked the traumatized aesthetic.
Yay!
Oh my goodness, it's a minor circuit fighter with more than 2 attacks! Who would have thought? Oh my goodness, this is revolutionary. Not only that, but he's a Frenchman who's actually competent. What is this, the Upside Down? Anyways, enough of that. This guy is from Super Punch-Out, and Super Punch-Out fighters are much more well-rounded and have a lot more of a diverse move pool. Well, most of them do at least. This guy's on more the minor side because he only has 5 main attacks, and 2 of those you could barely even call attacks. He has a jab and a hook, yeah, but then he has a little dodge. He doesn't use it whenever you star punch, unlike a lot of later fighters. Instead, he'll just do it sometimes. However, this mostly just leaves him open. But then there's his other 2 special attacks. One is Glass Joe's taunt, except he'll attack immediately after it, so you either need to commit to hitting him out of it, which still is easy, but hey, at least it's not an instant knockout, or you need to dodge it. However, if you do dodge it successfully, then you get a flurry. What's a flurry, you may be asking? Well, for certain opponents, after doing some of their special attacks, when you punch them, you get a lot of hits. However, to make sure it doesn't take ages to get all those hits, you do a flurry, which makes it so that you punch much faster. Gabby Jay has the first flurryable attack of any character, and that's cool, but that also makes him a bit weaker, and it makes dodging it a bit more valuable. That said, not that you want to get the flurry, since, once again, you could just counter it. Also, a 3-star punch while he's about to hit you is enough to make him go down instantly. That's an instant knockout. The problem is it's a bit harder to time, so I guess that's in his favor. But by far, the main reason I put him above Glass Joe and Von Kaiser is his new taunt. However, unlike Glass Joe's taunt, which leaves him open and gives you a star, this guy's taunt heals him, and you can't hit him out of it because he'll back up before doing it. When he's doing his little dodges, you better hope you can knock him down in that time, otherwise he's gonna heal, and that will drag out the timer, because he doesn't heal a little bit. He heals like 1/3 of his health, which, while not that much, because once again, this guy's in the minor circuit, that's still nothing to gloss over. He's still a much harder opponent than Glass Joe was. That said, he's still number 26. Why? Well, yeah, the usual. It's blasé at this point. You can counter all of his actual attacks, and they give you stars, and while a 3-star punch isn't enough to instantly knock him down, unlike Von Kaiser and Glass Joe, it still does a shit ton of damage. So, yeah, sorry Gabby Jay. You're still much better than Glass Joe, though. I take Gabby Jay over Glass Joe any day. Glass Joe is more of an iconic character, and I like him more as a character, but Gabby Jay, in general, is just more competent as a fighter. As for fun facts, this is probably widely known, but Gabby Jay was Glass Joe's student, and he graduated from the Glass Joe School of Boxing. This confirms that Glass Joe owns a boxing school, even though he's the single most pathetic boxer in any fictional boxing game. Not just in any fictional boxing game, of any fictional boxing character. That is crazy. Well, I mean, I guess Cream the Rabbit boxes sometimes, so... but to be fair, Cream is only really pathetic because, you know, she's 6, but whatever.
I pin him to the ground to let him know it's real. I say, here it comes!
Disco Kid. This was the one new character we got in Punch-Out for the Wii, by the way. Like, I mean, I personally don't think that Aaron Ryan is the same Aaron Ryan as the one in the SNES, so I guess that's up for debate, but this is the one character that we know for a fact is new. Come on, man. Now, listen, I like him and all, but, like, he's a minor circuit fighter, so you can't expand upon him that much. And they tried to with his title defense fight, but his title defense fight is the easiest title defense fight. Jesus Christ. Anyways, he's just Glass Joe again. He only has 2 attacks, a jab and a hook, except, oh, this time you can only dodge the hook in one direction, but you can still duck it, so... oh boy. I don't really have that much to say, man. He's just... okay, you know what? I'll try and say some stuff about him. He does have some delayed versions of his attacks, but the problem is those give you even more stun than the regular ones. In fact, let's go over how much stun each of his attacks give you. His regular jab, 5 hits. His delayed jab, 6 hits. His hook, 7 hits. And his delayed hook, 8 hits. That is crazy. Not to mention he has a taunt which once again will give you a star. And if you hit that taunt with any type of star punch, he goes down immediately. Though it's not an instant knockout. It's only an instant knockdown. And his defense is so bad. You could just punch willy-nilly and still get some good hits on him. Oh my goodness. That said, he's above Gabby Jay for a reason. Now, what reason is that? Well, as much as it pains me to say, I struggled on this guy when I first played this fan game. No, I am serious. His delays unironically fucked me up quite a few times and caused me to lose this fight a lot, whether it be by decision or by method of KO. I am ashamed of it, but that doesn't mean that I won't give credit where credit is due. So, hooray, he gets to be bumped up to 25. Let's all be very proud of him. Everyone, you know what? Yeah, go ahead, clap for him. Clap for this momentous achievement. Go on, do it. I have your dog. Do it, now. Or cat, depending on what animal you have. Clap for him, you selfish prick. Anyways, I know this is a pretty commonly known fun fact, but Disco Kid is theorized to be Kid Quick, because not only do they have the same height, weight, and place of origin, as well as same win-to-loss ratio, but he's often referred to in the files as Kid Quick. Isn't that interesting? As much as it pains me to say, Bear Hugger really doesn't have a lot to say about him. Well, I mean, he does have a few things, I guess. Now, once again, he only has 2 attacks. He's got an overhead punch and a hook, so cool. Also, he'll sometimes do his classic bear hug, which you need to duck, so I guess that's cool, but it's still easy. Funny enough, when you start this fight, he starts out like Don Flamenco and will infinitely taunt you until you try to hit him. That said, he won't block you and then counter you. Instead, he'll just kind of let himself get hit. There is a bit of strategy to this though, as what you want to do is punch him in the stomach, then start punching him in the head, which I find kinda cool. If you just punch him in the head, you'll only get one hit, and if you punch him in the stomach, you'll stun him, but if you punch him in the stomach again, he'll immediately get out of stun, whatever. The problem is once again, both his attacks can be parried, and yeah, this is just blasé at this point. Man, I'm just so disappointed in you, Bear Hugger. You should do better. Also, his sprite work is... I mean, it's not as bad as some of the other characters, like Disco Kid. I personally like Disco Kid in this fan game. It's better than some of his other fan-made sprites. But, I don't know, something about Bear Hugger is just off. I don't know what it is. As for fun facts about Bear Hugger, he was originally supposed to be King Hippo in the NES version. However, to save money on, different color palettes, they changed that and just made King Hippo on the fly. To be fair, if they didn't do that, we wouldn't have King Hippo, so give and take. I mean, what else is there to say? It's King Hippo. You know how this goes. He opens his mouth, you punch him in the head so that you can punch him in the stomach. That said, he's still also stunned when he does his basic jabs, so that's cool, I guess. You can only hit him in the head, but still. Oddly enough, after you hit him out of all of his stun timers, you can hit him once in the stomach, consistently. Unless you're playing on Madness mode, but we're not going to be taking Madness mode into consideration, since it feels like more of a mod than anything. Well, I mean, I guess that's what it's supposed to be. Anyways, the one unique thing about him is his Hippo Hug that he has in Wii, and much like in Wii, you can parry it. It does a shit ton of damage and will most likely knock him out, but still. Also, you know what, just for those of you who somehow don't know, the gimmick with King Hippo is he has a shit ton of health, but you only need to knock him out once and he will not get back up. If you knock him down, he's not getting back up at all. As for fun facts about King Hippo, he's tied with Glass Joe for the most on his Rule 34 tag. The only reason I bring that up is because that's the only fun fact I could find about him. Don't ask how I know.
I can't wait for this to be over, just so you'll stop saying the word man like a Jamaican.
Hoo boy, Bob Charlie. Basically Disco Kid Plus. Now, while his delays didn't fuck me up as much, I will admit he definitely does have a wider variety of attacks. However, he still does have a taunt, which gives you a star, so that's kinda lame. But overall, not all of his attacks are parryable. That's an improvement. The one where he does 2 hooks isn't parryable. His special spin punch, which actually does a lot of damage, is also not parryable. And a lot of his attacks are one-directional. But why is he this low? Well, still, most of his attacks are parryable, and a lot of his attacks are really easy to dodge when you get the timing down. That said, that double hook attack can definitely fuck you up if you try to dodge too early, and if you quick dodge. As for fun facts, did you know that Bob Charlie is based off of Bob Farley? I think that should be pretty obvious.
And then I think in the Super Nintendo version he had a mustache.
You just said he had a mustache.
I mean, mohawk.
I am unironically baffled that anyone in the minor circuit managed to make it this high. I know he only made it to 8 places, but that still baffles me. 21 is crazy. We have my personal favorite character of the minor circuit, aside from Kaiser, that being Piston Hurricane. Hooray! Now, much like Gabby Jay, since he's a super punch-out fighter, he has a much more diverse moveset. He's got a jab and a hook and an uppercut. He has a taunt, which if you try to take the bait too early, he'll dodge and then immediately try and punch you. And the classic Hurricane Rush. He'll back up, scream, I think, I don't know, and then he'll hit you with a rush of 4 punches. This is made to teach you the importance of blocking. And then, after he's done with that, you can get a flurry on him. You can also parry it when he's about to do it in order to get an instant knockdown on him. and a 3-star punch is an instant knockout. I don't have that much to say aside from the fact that, yeah, once again, most of his attacks can be parried, but still, mainly due to the fact that this is like such a change of pace from Disco Kid, that alone gives him a spot here. But also, he's just generally a much more competent fighter, and his attacks are much stronger. His entire Hurricane Rush in the base game, not including Madness Mode, will do about 60% of your health, which is a lot. As for fun facts, there's a common theory about how the Piston Hurricane we see in the arcade version and the Piston Hurricane we see in the Super Punch-Out version are not the same person, but rather Piston Hurricane Senior and Piston Hurricane Junior. I personally do believe this theory, as Piston Hurricane Junior definitely does not look like he's fully from Cuba. I don't know.
It's just his voice.
Yes, that's him eloquently stating that.
Hey, baby, you want to go for a drink?
Spain, Spain, Spain!
Don Flamenco!
Don't kick the goddamn...
Okay, in all seriousness, Don Flamenco does have some tough attacks, but I don't care. He's Don Flamenco. Even if he probably deserves to be higher, I'm still putting him this low. Now, I will talk about some of the things that make him a bit more difficult than some of the other fighters below him. He's got a really fast flamenco uppercut that he'll do after his 2 hooks, which gets me every time, I swear. And he also has his Uno, Dos, Tres, Cuatro attack, where he'll force you to dodge in multiple different directions. You need to memorize them. That said, while this is definitely the harder of the 2 attacks like this, it's still locked behind him being Don Flamenco, so I'm not gonna give him that many points for it. He's Don Flamenco, what else am I supposed to say? He's probably... I unironically think he's wimpier than Glass Joe. I hate him so much. As for fun facts, his girlfriend Carmen is the only character that you see and is named but you never fight. Although I guess you could maybe say that the lady he gives the rose to in that scene might not be Carmen, but I mean, come on, it has to be Carmen.
Kick the baby! Don't kick the goddamn baby. Kick it! Wah!
This guy pisses me off so much. First off, he has like one of the worst cases of resting bitch face, and the only time he ever smiles, it's a cocky smile, and yeah, he looks like that cranky neighbor that will just yell at your kids for no reason. Also, his fight is pretty easy. You can parry all of his jabs, and he has 2 special attacks, but they're telegraphed to hell. The one reason he's this high is because he has a healing move, which... okay, cool. But that said, you can punch him out of it and get a star off it, so... one thing I will say is unless you have the ghost outfit on, the attack where he tries to kick you multiple times does require some decent reaction time and does require you to be actively paying attention. So, I guess that's cool. As for fun facts, oh my goodness. As for fun facts, despite being named Dragon Chan, this guy is inspired by Bruce Lee. Why is he named Dragon Chan if he's not inspired by Jackie Chan, but rather Bruce Lee? What the fuck kind of sense does that make? Okay, sorry, I'm calm now.
I am the most racist of them all. Why am I speaking with a French accent? I don't know. Getting my racism confused. What I meant was, boot, 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 yeah!
I'm gonna be honest, Great Tiger had the potential to be much higher, but he's dragged down by the fact that his uppercuts are parryable, because that's the attack he will be undoubtedly using the most in this fight. He starts off the fight doing anywhere between 4 and 8 jabs, and if you block these, you get 5 hits. However, you can parry them, but you won't get a star. Oh, sorry, just choked on air. But you won't get a star unless you hit him at a very specific time in the head, and it's really not worth going for. However, then he'll just do uppercuts over and over again. And while, you know, this is pretty good, the problem is they are all parryable. This alone makes him one of the single most pathetic fighters in the entire game. Which is so disappointing, because he could have been so much better, man. In my opinion, the hardest part about him is the jabs, unironically. Now, if you knew this boss fight, you would probably say the hardest part about him is the Mirage Dance, and that's fair. It's kinda like Dragon Chan's kicks, where you need to react to which direction to dodge in, except it's harder because he'll more often than not do it more times. He'll automatically do it every single time he's on his 3rd phase, and both sides will have a Great Tiger on them, but one will be more transparent. Yeah, this attack is pretty difficult, but I mean, I guess the one thing that makes it slightly less difficult is when he's done doing the attack, if you hit him with a Star Punch, he goes down immediately. It's not an instant knockout, it's just an instant knockdown, but he'll most likely be doing it on his 3rd phase anyway, so it's basically the same thing. The one other thing I could say about him is he has a special attack where he will do 3 jabs and then an uppercut. If you don't know how to properly deal with this, it's kind of difficult, but, I mean, yeah. As for fun facts, despite popular belief, his turban is not illegal due to it being a religious headpiece and therefore protected. And no ref would want to make a ruling that God himself would not agree with.
Not to be racist or anything, but Asian people.
He did what to my Hondo? Yeah, Piston Honda, or Honda if you're an OG, is pretty good. He's basically just a more well-rounded Piston Hurricane, which does more damage, has less stun time, and is just overall better. Especially when you look at his Hondo Rush, which I'm just going to call a Hurricane Rush because the Hurricane Rush is the OG version, and if you think otherwise, then you're not an OG. But the Hondo Rush will not slow down if you block it, unlike a lot of other rapid jab attacks, which definitely sets it apart. And after he does all the jabs, he'll immediately do an uppercut, which definitely improves it. He also has this fake-out uppercut where he'll turn around multiple times, which, yeah, that makes him harder too. Overall, Piston Hondo is just an improvement to Piston Hurricane, in my opinion. I don't like him more as a character because he definitely does have a case of resting bitch face, much like Dragon Chan, but when he does smile, he does seem sincere, so I guess I'll give him that. Also, as for fun facts, the guy who voiced him also voiced for ARMS, which I think is kind of cool.
Guess what?
What's up? Tell me.
Guess what?
What's up?
Guess what?
What?
I'm gay!
Kid Quick. Are there any more nothing characters than Kid Quick? Like, at least with Pizza Pasta in the arcade version, he was an early version of Don Flamenco, but Kid Quick just has nothing that's really special about him, which is kind of weird. Anyways, yeah, Kid Quick, he's definitely improved in this fight. His parries actually require you to hit him in specific ways, which I think is really amazing. That said, you can still parry all of his attacks, so I'm not going to give him too much credit. He also has an attack similar to Don Flamenco's Uno, Dos, Tres, Cuatro, but it's undoubtedly easier. You can counter it though, but it only gives you a star instead of instantly knocking him down, which I think is good. Aside from that, there's not really much to say aside from the fact that he has a lot of one-directional dodges, and after his arrow attack, you can get a flurry off him. I guess he does also have this double uppercut attack, but it's kinda easy to dodge. Aside from that, he's just Kid Quick. As for fun facts, did you know that in the original version of the Punch-Out for the arcade, Kid Quick and Pizza Pasta were the only characters to not have refights whenever the game loops around. I'm kinda glad they changed that because, you know, I feel like they had a bit more potential. But, oh well. They never really got that potential. I mean, I guess Kid Quick still does live on as Disco Kid, so he did live up to that potential to some degree, I guess? I don't know. Masked Muscle was a character I originally never really cared for all that much, but I've grown to like. I find him very unique with his headbutt attack hitting you multiple times, and his spits blinding you for a short amount of time. The problem is I guess I wish its timer was shorter because it just completely drags out the match. Aside from that, how does he hold up in this version? Well, he holds up surprisingly well. Once again, most of his attacks can be parried, but not all of them can. His little rush attack that he does is kinda difficult to dodge, even if you block it, but whatever. But undoubtedly one of my favorite things about this fight is when he gets to his third phase. He has a new special attack where he'll do his Adios taunt that he does when he wins in the original Super Punch-Out, and then he'll do an uppercut. While it is just a really easy, glorified Dreamland Express, I still think it's a good way to, I don't know, expand on his character a little bit. It makes him feel a bit more patriotic in all honesty, which, you know, is kind of weird to say, in my opinion. But, yeah, the thing that drags him down this much is, once again, the fact that, you know, you can parry all his attacks. Also, his spit attack has been majorly downgraded, not only because of the fact that it's bullshit because you can't actually see the spit, but even if you get hit by the spit, you only gotta dodge twice because it takes away all your hearts, and the only thing you need to do is get him back. It's just an attack that takes away all your hearts with extra steps. As for fun facts, the spit that he spits isn't actually regular spit, but instead Dokugiri, or Poison Mist, and because it's blue, it has the blinding effect. If that was a coincidence, that's a really crazy coincidence, but if it wasn't a coincidence, I think that that's really cool.
And meatball!
It was fucking Pizza Pasta!
You know what? Forget Von Kaiser. Forget Aaron Ryan. Forget Dragon Chan. Forget Glass Joe. Forget Bear Hugger. Forget Piston Honda. This man is undoubtedly the single most racist character in the entire franchise, simply because of his name. Anyways, let's just talk about his fight. Now, his fight is very segmented, so I'll just talk about all of his attacks individually in order of how they go. Now, first off, he'll do a little shuffle and you can hit him and get a star, and then he'll do 3 jabs. Each of these jabs you can hit him to stun him and get 3 hits off him. That being said, if you get hit by one of the jabs, you're probably going to get hit by the rest. Anyways, after that, he'll go to doing some uppercuts similar to the ones we just saw with Masked Muscle. These can be parried, but I mean, there's no real value you get off it since you don't get stars, so you get more value just by dodging them and then taking the 5 hits you get off his stun. He'll do this again, except after the uppercuts, he'll do a clinch. And this clinch will not only do a lot of damage to you, it will also heal him, which is one of the main reasons why he's this high in the first place. Also, he does definitely have a lot of time control and is decently tanky. The only way to deal with the clinch is to parry it, and even then the parry is not very generous. The window to hit him is actually pretty tight, which is pretty cool. As for fun facts, quite a few people in the Bob's Burgers community have actually compared Jimmy Pesto to Pizza Pasta, which, you know what, I kinda see the similarities. Bald bull. Okay, can I be real with y'all for a sec? I don't like Bald Bull that much. Like, unironically, I don't like Bald Bull that much. I think he's overrated. I think all of his fights are bullshit, except for his Super Punch-Out fight, and I think he's just generally kind of an overrated character. He's just angry. That's his only defining character trait. If I wanted to put a character in my game whose only character trait was being angry, I would just put my mom in the game. Okay, yeah, sure, I guess his Bull Charge is one of the most iconic moves in Punch-Out, but that doesn't make it a good attack. This thing got easier to parry over the years. I find that hilarious. But you know what? I think this fight definitely does bring out the best in a lot of the Bald Bull fights. Aside from the gimmick where you can only hit him with star punches, but to be fair, I just hated that gimmick so much, so I don't mind that it's not here. This fight is, yeah, it's pretty difficult. It's Bald Bull. His rolling jabs are really fast. He's got some fast uppercuts. He's got some fast hooks. Everything about him is fast. He's even got this little double uppercut. Fuck! This little double uppercut attack, which allows you to get a flurry off him. And of course, he's got the Bull Charge. That said, it is very, very easy to parry. It's like oddly easy to parry, which I think is weird. Whatever the case may be, I feel like Bald Bull does kind of deserve to be the world champion, but that's only because anyone else who could have been world champion is in the special circuit, so yeah, I get that. Aside from that, Bald Bull, everyone. Don't clap for him, he hates publicity. Anyways, as for fun facts, yeah, I know I already said this before, but he has the most fights of any character in the entire series, having 1 arcade fight, 2 NES fights, a Super fight, and 2 fights on the Wii version. So, cool.
Top of the morning to you, Bendy. And before any of you say that's racist, I'm not making fun of the Irish. I'm making fun of how obvious it is who Jacksepticeye plays.
Well, if it isn't the cheating baby bitch who's undoubtedly my favorite character in this game. I love you, Aaron Ryan. I will always love you. Anyways, he's one of the most unique fighters in the game, considering what you have to do is parry him. If you dodge his attacks and then try to hit him, you'll most likely only get 1 hit off of it. But if you delay it for a bit, you can get a star, I guess. But what you need to do, for the most part, is just parry, and then hit him. That's the only way to stun him, and that makes him a pretty unique fighter. I mean, to be fair, Pizza Pasta's clinch did the same thing, but that was 1 attack. For this guy, all of his attacks are like that, except for the headbutt. I'm pretty sure you can't parry the headbutt. Now, to be fair, he is pretty easy, albeit he does have a lot of time control and can make the match go on for a while, but once you knock him down for that second time, when he gets back up, he's going to do his little hurricane rush that he did in the original version. He'll punch you 4 times, and then he'll try to uppercut you. Once again, much like his basic uppercuts, you can't dodge this one and then get a ton of stun off him. You only get 1 hit, so instead you need to parry the uppercut in order to get 9. And then he'll do the rush again with the same uppercut, and then he'll do a headbutt attack, then he'll go back to his normal shit. That said, the problem here is you only have 7 hearts. 7 hearts. 7 is crazy because he does 8 jabs in this little rush, and that's assuming you don't get hit. So you gotta dodge at least 2 of them if you want to get all the hits you can off of this. I think that this is actually kind of flawed, just a little bit. As for fun facts, yeah, did you know that this guy commits the most infractions out of any character in the entire series? That probably shouldn't be surprising, as he has around 20, including attacking the ref, inciting and fighting with the crowd, general unsportsmanlike behavior, which, yeah, obviously, and using a worn glove as a weapon. Yeah, this guy's gonna be banned for life, easily. Seriously, like, I'm pretty sure it's 15 infractions that gets you banned. I could be wrong, but Oh my goodness. Yeah, this guy's gonna be banned for life. In fact, ban him from all sports. Don't just ban him from boxing. Ban him from ever participating in another sport again, because he's just gonna find a new one, and he's just gonna cheat more. Fucking prick. Vodka Drunkinski, or Soda Popinski if you're a fucking loser, is our next fighter, and is probably my second favorite fighter in the whole series. I don't know, I just kinda like him. Now, this guy is, yeah, there is a big difference between how easy he is when you know how to fight him, and when you don't. To be fair, that is the case for quite a few other fighters, but it's probably most apparent with this guy. I mean, seriously. He has these jabs that have literally no startup, so you best be holding your block the whole time. He's got 2 hooks, one of them is one directional, but the other you can dodge in both directions, which is kind of weird. His uppercuts are really fast, and he has a healing taunt, which is way too fast, I feel like. That being said, if you try to punch him while he's doing it, you get a star. Hooray! Surely nothing bad will come of this, right? Oh boy. Yeah, this guy will get angry very easily. Whenever you knock him down or punch the soda out of his hand, he will get very angry and very violent and try and hit you with 4 uppercuts. This is unironically his easiest attack to dodge, simply because of the fact that it's more telegraphed than any of his other attacks combined. Seriously, the main thing about this guy is that he is just not telegraphed at all. Oh my goodness. This guy is my second favorite character for a reason, and I really, really hope someone, maybe even the person who made this in the first place, makes a title defense version so we can see what a title defense match with this guy would look like. That would be absolutely amazing. Before we get into the main fun fact, I just want to say that he probably has my favorite start theme from the original Punch-Out. Not in Punch-Out Wii, but in the original one, I just think it's pretty good. Take a listen. But as for the actual fun fact, the original name for Zamgeef was Vodka Gobalski, which I find interesting. And it was directly in reference to Soda Popinski's original name, Vodka Drunkinski. I also feel like that original name would have made more sense since, you know, he speaks very slurred, he's a clear addict, and a lot of his dialogue is in reference to it. So I feel like they should have kept to that. That being said, I can understand why they wouldn't, because there's a certain line you can't cross. I get there is a lot of racism in this game, but alcohol is definitely not something you want to promote to kids.
Dude, you're British. I bet you can't even say bottle of water.
Challenge accepted.
Oh, God.
Bottle of water?
I knew it!
Wow, we've reached the top 10. What better way to celebrate this momentous occasion with our first special circuit fighter? Who is it? Oh boy. Is this a daddy's boy? Yeah, of course he's gonna be into boxing. And then he's gonna get so angry whenever someone punches him in his face. Wait, that's his gimmick? I was just joking. Wait, where is he from? Oh, of fucking course. Alright, if you're one of my viewers in the UK, with all due respect, I hate the UK. I hate it with all my heart. I hate the UK so goddamn much. It's food, bad, aside from fish and chips. I really like fish and chips. It's people, bad.
You stupid.
And everything about it, bad.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
Aside from that, yeah, this is Narcis Prince, alright. I really don't want to spend much time talking about him because I don't want the British energy to be anywhere near me. But, yeah, Narcis Prince. His gimmick is that he won't let you punch him in the face, and you can only punch him in the face if you stun him. That said, not all of his attacks are stunnable, but yeah, once again, you can parry a lot of his attacks. The problem is the timing is not only really difficult, but is also inconsistent, which makes it so much harder. That said, his one special attack is one where I don't have any footage of him, but he'll like do a triple jab. I'm pretty sure you need to block it, but whatever. So yeah, Narcis Prince. He's British. I hate him. As for fun facts,
I will send you to Jesus.
And right after that, we have our next special circuit fighter, Heike Quarlow. Now, much as where I didn't have that much to say about Narcis Prince's actual fight, I have a lot to say about this guy's. Mainly that I fucking hated the Super Punch-Out version. It felt like total bullshit, and I feel like I was getting hit for no reason because all of his attacks were so poorly telegraphed. So I basically just had to memorize his pattern, which you don't normally need to do that much for Super Punch-Out because it's Super Punch-Out. Anyways, now I'm going to complain about this fight. Now, what is there for me to tear into? Wait, there's actually not a lot. Yeah, I think this fight is better than the SNES version. Now, he doesn't have a few of his attacks, such as that one rush attack, where he just will jab at you over and over again, forcing you to block in different directions. And he doesn't have his little backhand, which, to be fair, I'm kind of glad, because that was super illegal. I mean, not that anything else about this guy is super illegal. I mean, just look at his attire, it's perfectly fine, and all of his attacks are perfectly up to board. Okay, anyways. Yeah, he fights with a staff. He'll do a lot of attacks that require you to have very specific timing with blocking or dodging, and I think that makes him a pretty good fighter. You also can counter some of his attacks, but not a lot. In fact, I think you can counter the perfect amount of attacks here. You can only counter this one jab attack he does, the second part of this attack, and his kick. Aside from that, I don't really have that much else to say about. Oh my god, what is he doing? Yeah, on his third phase, he will jump around a bunch and will try to hit you with the staff. Now, you need to dodge this, I'm pretty sure it's 4 times, before being able to unload a flurry on him. Now, while I do think that this fight is difficult, I also think that it's a pretty good balance, and this is one of my favorite fights in the game. That said, it's definitely not my favorite, as it can still fuck you over a lot. And when I say a lot, I mean a lot. I still like this guy, but he's... I will never be able to forgive you for the unimaginable amount of pain you put me through on Super Punch-Out, you old fucking prick. As for fun facts, this guy makes the most use of blocking of any fighter in the entire series. Yep, that's right, more than Piston Honda or Hurricane.
Oh, my hair looks so pretty!
Now, normally, I would tell you not to disrespect femboys. We don't disrespect femboys on this channel. This guy, he's the one exception. I hate him so much. I might hate him more than Heike Kagero and Narcis Prince. Now, he might not be the character I hate the most, since there's the final World Circuit character we're gonna talk about might outdo him by just a little bit, but oh my god, I hate this guy so much. I hope he dies in a brutal fire or a brutal car accident. Okay, I'm calm now, I'm sorry. Anyways, now, despite being number 8, he's another character that you can parry the shit out of. That being said, oh my god, the timing is so unbelievably tight. Like, every single attack requires you to change up your timing at least a little bit, and that, oh my goodness. Especially that little mini uppercut he does. But, you know, he only has a jab, a hook that can only be dodged in one direction, and that little mini uppercut, right? Wrong, because he'll do a mirage dance where he brings all of those attacks together and will just randomly decide to use them whenever he appears, which is really annoying. Not only that, but at the end of the Mirage Dance, he'll use his hair flip attack, which does a shit ton of damage and is really hard to dodge. You cannot hit him with a Star Punch unless he's stunned, which I think is kind of cool, but... oh boy, Heike Kagero. I hate you so much. For fun facts, this was a really great video to make.
Let's go to In-N-Out. You gotta go to In-N-Out. That's the one requirement. Just the one.
Oh my god, it's super bogus, man.
Smash.
Now this guy is totally radical, dudes. He's a more well-rounded Soda Popinski with some new attacks. He really combines a lot of stuff about other characters, such as attacks that you specifically need to duck, a lot of attacks that are flurryable, a fake-out uppercut, and even a taunt, which is super cool. And I think... okay, I'm sorry, I can't do that voice. I'm dying of cringe over here. Super Bogus Man is unironically one of my favorite characters to hate on in any video game ever, because he's just such a fucking dickbag. Anyways, yeah, like I said earlier, he's basically just a more well-rounded version of Soda Popinski, while combining a lot of things from every other character, which I think is really cool. That said, there's still one reason why I put him below Mr. Sandman. First off, his taunt lasts much longer than his, and I mean, I guess it heals him a little bit, but still. And the other reason is that you can also get stars off of some of his other attacks, as well as the fact that you can just parry them in the first place. Now, while not all of the attacks will give you stars, his little fake-out uppercut, while hard to parry, will give you a star. I think his little fake-out uppercut is kind of unnecessary in my opinion. I get he had that in the original NES fight, but still. Also, his Super Macho Spin Punch is... yeah, it's pretty hard to dodge, but I mean, it will always happen after he does his little taunt, so as soon as you learn that, it's decently easy. Also, his Super Macho Clothesline is, much like Vodka Drunkinski, is unironically his easiest attack to dodge because of how telegraphed it is. To be fair, I can understand why it's telegraphed, because it would be bullshit if it wasn't telegraphed due to the fact that one hit will send you to the mat. As for fun facts, this guy has been world champion in most games, being world champion in 3. That being the second arcade game, the Mike Tyson's Punch-Out, and Super Punch-Out. Now, while he isn't the final boss in NES Punch-Out or Super Punch-Out, he's still the World Circuit Champion because Mike Tyson is just technically a bonus fight, and the Special Circuit isn't the World Circuit, so it still counts.
Mr. Sandman.
It's always sunny in Philadelphia. It's always sunny in Philadelphia. Haha, good one. Okay. Anyways, let's get the elephant out of the room and just deal with him later. First off, his rolling jabs are really fast, and I know you can block them, but that still doesn't excuse how fucking fast they are. His overhead punches can be parried, but there's not a lot of value out of doing that. And his hooks are pretty fast, but, you know, pretty easy to dodge. His uppercuts are pretty good. It's good that they only come in pairs of 1. It would be crazy if he did it multiple times, right? Okay, you know what? Let's just address the elephant in the room. The Dreamland Express is one of the most ruthless attacks in the entire series, probably. And you know what? I feel like just calling this attack a Dreamland Express is kind of untruthful, since I feel like any attack with 3 or more uppercuts can be considered a Dreamland Express. It doesn't matter who's performing them. But, oh my goodness. The main thing that makes him so difficult is just how fucking tanky he is. He has so much HP that he will most likely take you to decision unless you know his parry tricks, when to get a star. The only opportunity you have to get a star, by the way, is when he does his little taunt, which is like less than a second long, which is absolutely ridiculous. His attacks are fast, then strong, and he just... oh my goodness. If you get hit by one attack, you're most likely going to get hit by at least one more. Mr. Sandman is probably one of the most imposing characters in this entire game, aside from the obvious. Don't worry, we will get to him. But, oh, man. Can I stop talking about this guy now? Because I don't want to talk to him, because I feel like if I do, I'm risking talking shit about him, and if I talk shit about him, he's definitely going to send me to Dreamland. As for fun facts, he is the only character in the Wii World Circuit who wouldn't get banned, as Soda Popinski would be banned for doping, Aaron Ryan would be banned for committing just about every cheat in the book, and Super Macho Man and Bald Bull would be banned for, well, assaulting the referee. That immediately gets you banned. Don't know if you didn't know that. Okay, Mr. Sandman, I mean no harm. In fact, you are one of my favorite characters, so please don't hurt me.
This next one's gonna be a bit of a mouthful. You ready for this? Yeast. That's all there is to it. Don't think I really need to explain much else.
This feels like a fucking gag. There is no way an actual clown made it above Super Macho Man and Mr. Sandman, as well as just some of the other characters below him, like Soda Popinski or Bald Bull. How is this even possible? Well, I'll tell you how. He has a vast move pool, and that's not just saying he has a lot of attacks. A lot of his attacks are very unique. You got your jabs, you got your hooks, you got your uppercuts, you got an ear clap, which heals him. Okay, that's cool. He's got this little side chop with the side of his glove, which you can only dodge in one direction, of course. You've got attacks that are very parryable, attacks that are very not parryable, and attacks that are projectiles? Are you serious? Yeah, his balls attack is probably one of the hardest attacks to dodge in the entire game. He will throw balls at your face. Do not laugh, you immature fuck. And you need to dodge in very specific directions, and sometimes you won't even have to dodge at all, which just makes it even harder. It makes it much, much harder than Don Flamenco's or Kid Quick's little one-directional attacks. And you know what? I would consider this part of that family since, you know, you gotta dodge in specific directions multiple times. Not to mention, after the 3 rounds of balls, he hits you with a massive ear clap that does a ton of damage. But this all pales in comparison to the hardest part about him. On his 3rd phase, he will do a Hurricane Rush, where he will punch you 3 times, and in between those waves of hitting you 3 times, he will bring together all of his hardest attacks. His hooks, his uppercuts, his ear clap. I'm pretty sure he might do the balls attack. I don't know, I never made it that far. And he'll even do his little attack where he'll send his uppercuts into the little cross chops. To be fair, that attack does give you a flurry, but it doesn't matter because it's so hard to dodge. This is probably the character I like the least, because he's just such a fucking cheater. Now, to be fair, he's not as big of a cheater as Aaron Ryan, because he only commits 17 different infractions in his fight, which, you know, is still a lot, but it's not 20, much like Aaron. So, I guess that's something, but yeah, Mad Clown, please do us all a favor and never come back. As for fun facts, he's inspired by Priscilla, I probably pronounced that wrong, which is a story about a clown who snuck out of the circus to join the choir, except instead it's a clown who snuck out of the circus to become a boxer. Which is pretty cool how random that reference is. I never actually heard about that story until doing research for this video, which is, yeah, you learn something new every day, I guess.
No! My name's not
Rick Bruiser. Oh boy. Now, while you can parry some of his attacks, namely his 2 types of uppercuts, that won't get you far. The one thing that will get you far is a little strategy you can use, but I'll get to that. His jabs are really fast, and while you can parry them, he'll immediately do a little thing that we'll get to in a moment. His hooks, they're not that bad. His uppercut, it's one-directional, it's kind of annoying. Then you got this little shoulder bash attack that he does where you need to dodge it twice. He also has a little attack where he'll do an upper jab, a lower jab, and then a massive uppercut. Then he has his stupid Quake attack. Listen, this little uppercut he does before the shoulder bash looks like it should hurt you. How the fuck am I supposed to know it doesn't? But not only that, you need to time dodging so that when he does his little Quake attack, you aren't stunned into a position where he'll hit you with the uppercut he does a little bit after. And while this attack does give you a flurry, it's still really annoying. But, you know, I feel like this guy should be higher. All of his attacks are just so difficult to dodge, and he brings so many different things to the table. Even if he does have opportunities to get stars, why is he not higher? 2 reasons. 1, the people above him are just straight up better than him. And 2, a little strategy. You see, I have been holding off on talking about the costumes because I didn't know how to work it into the video, but basically costumes will allow you different abilities. The minor, major, world, and special outfits are just the outfits you use in Wii. They allow you to get 3 stars, and you can use them all at once whenever you want to. The classic outfit will make it so that while stars do more individually, you can only use one at a time. The hyper outfit will make it so that you are always attacking like you're in a flurry. All of the attacks go really fast, and all of your star punches are undodgeable, mainly due to how fast they are. This outfit is fine. It's not one that I use that often, aside for King Hippo and Aaron Ryan. The poison outfit is probably the one I use the least. You take more damage and always take damage if your opponent ever dodges or blocks a punch, but also your hearts are always at 99, which is useful for some fights, I guess, but not for a lot. Then there's the Wrath outfit, which is the one we will be talking about for this one. Don't worry, I'll talk about the Ghost outfit at some point, but just not now. The Wrath outfit gives you the super meter from Super Punch-Out, except when you don't punch, the meter will go down automatically, which is kind of annoying. However, there's one special gimmick with Rick Bruiser that I have withheld. That being, whenever you hit him with a star punch, or parry some of his attacks, or just hit him with an attack that you probably shouldn't have because it wasn't during his stun, he'll back up a little bit and then immediately try and hit you with counterpunch. This also gives you an opportunity to stun him. So, if you get the full meter on the Wrath outfit, you can hit him and then use a Wrath punch on him. This will cause him to do that little counter attack, and then you can dodge that and stun him again, and use the Wrath punch again, and then just do that forever. Also, it's not really that difficult to get the full Wrath meter in this fight, which it is in most fights, unless you're playing on Madness mode, but once again, we're not talking about that. That one little thing definitely honestly made me consider putting him below Mad Clown, but I think just objectively Mad Clown is a slight bit easier than this guy. That said, Rick isn't nearly as hard as what's to come. As for fun facts, both of the Bruiser brothers' Super Punch-Out fights had them using a special attack sometimes, where if you try to hit them willy-nilly, they'll do a little elbow bash on your fists that make one of them unavailable. While this didn't matter that much for Rick, it definitely did for Nick, because he was one of 2 characters, the other one being Quarlow, to require you to alternate your punches when he's stunned, otherwise he blocked them. Now, Quarlow and Nick Bruiser still do this in their fights, but I feel like it's not that big a deal since they don't do that attack in this version, and why wouldn't you alternate your punches anyway?
Nick.
Oh boy, speaking of Nick Bruiser, yeah, Nick Bruiser. He's here. He is very much here. Oh boy, where do I start? Well, I guess I'll go from the order of attacks he uses. He'll start with doing these really fast punches, and they're pretty damn difficult to deal with. After he does about 6 of these, he'll do a shoulder bash, which is all of your health if you don't dodge it, by the way, then do 2 hooks. So you gotta dodge it twice. Hooray. Then he'll do some basic jabs and hooks, as well as a little fake-out hook, and then some double uppercuts, some regular uppercuts, some more jabs, some more hooks. Oh my god, this fight is so... Whew. This is probably my favorite fight in the entire game, mainly because of just how much there is. This is just everything you've done bundled up into one, which I think he does better than Mr. Dream or Mike Tyson. But there's not really much else until you knock him down twice. Then he does probably my favorite attack to dodge in the entire game. He will do this little hand shuffle, and then will try to hit you 8 times, finishing it off with an uppercut. This attack is a adrenaline shot straight to your brain, and I wouldn't have it any other way. It is one of my favorite attacks in the entire game to dodge, and I love it so much for that. As for fun facts, Nick Bruiser is the only fighter in the entire series to never once be cocky. Like, genuinely, never once. Glass Joe, Gabby Jay, Kaiser, Disco Kid, Piston Hurricane Jr. and Sr., Bob Charlie, Bear Hugger, Kid Quick, Piston Honda, King Hippo, Great Tiger, Masked Muscle, Aaron Ryan, Dragon Chan, Pizza Pasta, Soda Popinski, Heike Kagero, Mad Clown, Don Flamenco, Bald Bull, Narcis Prince, Quarlow, Rick Bruiser, Super Macho Man, Mr. Sandman, Mr. Dream, and Mike Tyson are all cocky at some point.
I got that first try! Let's go!
This guy, never once. He's even ashamed after losing to you, which I think is really cool. I think he's definitely one of the most unique characters, and unironically one of my favorites for that reason. So, yeah, I know that's probably a hot take, but yeah, he's one of my favorite characters. Probably in general my 5th favorite in my opinion, but there's still a couple others that beat it. In fact, you know what? Let's get to one of them.
Yeah, baby! Dreaming big, baby!
Oh wait, I think I said that a little too early. Yep, this is Mr. Dream. Now, surprisingly, he and Mike Tyson aren't carbon copies of each other. In fact, they got a couple differences. I'll mostly be talking about Mike Tyson's fight when I get to Mike Tyson, but I'll talk about the things he adds. For one, he does a lot less damage than Mike Tyson, which, good, honestly. Although, I guess his Dream uppercut's only doing half your health instead of your whole health bar is a bit disappointing, but I digress. The other new stuff he adds to the table is this new little jab, which is just kind of there. I mean, it's fine, it's cool, I'm glad it's there, I don't know. It's just kind of an unnecessary addition. The one other thing he has is some different attack patterns and his special attack. When you knock him down twice, he will back up, blink for a little bit, and when he stops, you need to immediately dodge. Otherwise, an instant knockdown. It does not matter. And if you dodge it too early, that's also an instant knockdown. He immediately just bum rushes you and destroys your health bar. There is nothing you can do. And I think that adds a little bit of depth to him, just a little bit. The fact that he has magic powers, it does probably make sense since, you know, he's very mysterious. That said, he's still Mr. Dream, and I can't talk too much about his fight, since it would be dishonorable to talk about this fight while not talking about the person it actually belongs to. As for fun facts, this guy is the most unanimously hated character in the Punch-Out fandom, and I can kinda understand why. Although, I really hope if they ever make a new Punch-Out game, they give him a little bit more. Like, I'm surprised he wasn't in Punch-Out for the Wii and wasn't the final boss. But, beggars can't be choosers, I guess. Here he is, the man himself, in all his glory. Kid Dynamite, Mr. Dream, Iron Mike, Tyson Fury. This is Mike Tyson. I don't even need to explain why he's up here, and in fact, they only made this fight harder. I don't even know how that's possible. First off, his Dynamite uppercuts phase is completely one-directional. You can only dodge his uppercuts in one direction, which makes it so that you can basically only beat this fight with the Ghost outfit, and it is the only fight that to this day I have not beaten without the Ghost outfit. The Ghost outfit makes it so that you can dodge any attack in any direction, unless that attack can't be dodged, such as, you know, Pizza Pasta's clinch. And this Dynamite uppercuts phase will go on for the first minute. Not 90 seconds, only a minute. But after that, he still has a variety of attacks. You got his basic jabs, his hooks, his uppercuts. You got a little pattern where he'll do two hooks and then an uppercut. You got a pattern where he'll do 2 jabs and then an uppercut. Oh, by the way, he can just randomly go back to doing his Dynamite uppercuts whenever he feels like it. But not just that. At the beginning of every round, past round 1, he will hit you with 6 jabs and then a random attack. That is really annoying. And not to mention his special attack, which is the hardest attack to dodge of any of them. This attack will have you blink a lot, and if you let time pass, or if you hit him, which gives you a star, or gives you an instant knockdown if you're unbelievably lucky, he will start unloading. He will hit you with 7 really fast punches and then an uppercut. This requires pristine timing, and while I have definitely got the timing decently down, I'll still screw it up sometimes. This guy is up here for a reason. I don't think any of you are surprised. He deserves to be up here, and he is the single most intimidating fighter in the entire game, not because of anything special. He's just intimidating because he's fucking Mike Tyson. As a fucking young adult, he was able to get 27 wins, all by KO, go to the world champ, KO him, and then not get KO'd a single time for another 15 years. Or at least I think it was 15 years. I could be wrong. It might have been more or less. I'm pretty sure it was more or less. But whatever the case may be, Mike Tyson is an amazing boxer and is one of the most intimidating and hard video game bosses to this day, topping lists consistently. Well, not topping, but still, making it up there. And you know what? I think he was robbed in his fight against Jake Paul. If that fight wasn't fucking staged, he would have wiped his ass with Jake Paul. And, okay, actually we're getting a little bit off topic. Mike Tyson is by far the hardest boss in this game, and I don't think there is any competition. And you know what? I think the reward you get for beating him is not worth it. You get to play as Mike Tyson, but he's kind of weak. You can use a single Dynamite uppercut, which is kind of cool, but it's only a single Dynamite uppercut. You can't get stars, and instead, any opportunity you have to get stars will just do a lot of damage. And while you do take less damage and do more, I still think it's a little eh. I feel like the Mr. Sandman mod for this game is unironically better than playing as Mike Tyson. But that said, Mike Tyson is still an amazing fight, and is one of my favorites in this game. It's not as fun as Nick Bruiser in my opinion, but it is still absolutely amazing, and I love it so much. Hey, thanks for watching this incredibly long video. I would like to thank all my subscribers And if you're not a subscriber, please subscribe because I want to beat my high school in subscribers by the end of the school year. So please consider subscribing. Go check out this fan game. The link to it is in the description. And I will see you all later. Comment down below if you would like me to do any other lists as well as just general game related video suggestions. But aside from that, I will see y'all later. Goodbye.
Good job, son. Good job.